Real estate. Benefits. I have made some notes here. So since I'm concluding the investment in real estate, then I'm gonna go over my notes so that I can keep it precise and concise. So this time I'm gonna follow my notes so I can talk more about it. It's basically all these whatever information I have in my notes I have already talked about in my previous video, but I'm gonna summarize and sum it up. So benefit of owning a real estate is a tangible investment. We already talked about tangible investment. You can touch, you can feel, it's yours, nobody has a control over it. Only bank will have a control over it as long as you have mortgage on it. After that, you have almost all control over it. You just go ahead and pay your taxes. If you don't pay taxes, then the government will have control over it. You don't want that. So make sure you pay your taxes and you pay your insurance. So it's a tangible and it is yours. And it's a real and it's a statement wealth. And we talked about all that in my previous videos. Goes up in value. We already talked about it. But you have to maintain it. When I say maintain it, you have to take care of it. Then it will go up in value. It can also go down in the value. Why? Because all these structures are wooden structure, houses, buildings, they are wood. And 98% wood used in these structures are not treated wood. It's just lumber. So lumber over a period of time is going to dry out. It's going to rot if the water touches it. So you have to maintain it. And also you have to protect it from fire, flood, things like that. So you really have to take care of it. And also, if you take care of it, then it will go up in the value. When you buy property, you can bargain. If the market is there for you to bargain, bargain. And if you have money, buy cash. If you pay cash, no bank, no nothing is involved, then you can get cheaper. Rent it. It creates an income. So when you rent a property, who's actually making you wealthy? Your tenant is making you wealthy. So it creates an income for you. So let's say you have one property and you make $300 from that property in profit, and assume that you have now 10 properties, so you'll make $3,000. That adds to $36,000 a year income. And if you happen to have 20 properties, $72,000. Imagine that if you start paying off those houses or those property, pay every property off. Now this $300 profit will turn into $1,500 profit. Let me explain to you. When you had 1,200 houses rented for $1,500, $1,200 were going in the insurance and mortgage payment. You were making only $300 profit. Assume that their houses now paid for. Now you have all that $1,500 profit. Now some of the profit will go into insurance, which is $100 a month or so. Some maintenance cost, that's another $100. If you're managing property yourself, then it will be $1,200 to $1,300 profit every month. And if you have 10 houses, then it's $120,000. If you have 20, then $250,000, $240,000 profit, but provided everything is paid for. So it can create a great income, but it comes after saving, working hard, and investing. So it can create a lot of wealth, and the property value is increasing over the period of time, majority of time. Trust creates a great income, great retirement income, and wealth. Deductions. So whatever improvements you do on the property, you can tax deduct it. Deduct out of taxes. If you have a house which is not a rental house, you live in the house and it's your own home, and if you live in the property for 2 years and you are married, husband and wife, and if you have a capital gain, which means that $100,000 house, for example, sold it for $350,000, 200 up to $250,000, and if you're not married, that capital gain, you do not have to pay any taxes on it. And if you're married, up to $500,000 as a married couple, you do not have to pay any taxes on it, on capital gain, the profit. There are some stipulation there. I think the one stipulation that you have to live in the property for 2 years. If you're lucky, that property might go from $100,000 to $350,000 in 2 years, but usually that doesn't happen that way. But you are getting my point. And if you are in a rental business, up to $1 million worth of property, you can do the tax deductions on it. But you check with your accountant, check with your real estate attorney and all that, they know more about it. I'm just, like I said, I'm just giving you information based on what I learned over the years. So this is the benefits of owning real estate. We talked about flipping, and I said that I will talk about flipping. Now let me tell you about the flipping. Let's assume that you bought a property to flip, and this property is $100,000, and you got a great bargain, $150,000 property, or let's say $200,000 property, you got it for $100,000. Now you want to flip it because there is $100,000 profit in it. If you're lucky and without doing anything, you can flip it for another $50,000 profit, $100,000 or $60,000 profit, but that usually doesn't happen that way. In very rare circumstances, you can do it, but usually doesn't happen that way. Usually flipping means that you buy property cheap, you fix it up really nice, you put money into it. So you bought $100,000 property, you renovated, let's say you put $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 per, and then you can actually put the property back into market for $230,000 or $200,000. I don't know. What if that property does not sell? Then every single month you still have to pay the bank mortgage if you have borrowed money from the bank. If you have not borrowed, if you have cash, then you very likely will come ahead. But if you have borrowed money, then you are taking a risk. What if that market sits in the market for 6 months? You have to keep an eye on the property too. You have to drive by, you have to go every 2 months or every 2 days or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks to make sure that nobody is vandalizing it. So flipping is risky. That's what my point is. You can do it, some people have made money, but I have not seen anybody making big money by flipping properties. I have seen people making big money in real estate by buying, holding, and renting. Buy, hold, and rent. And if you want to sell, that's a different story. Buy, hold, and rent, buy, hold, and rent, buy, hold, and rent. That's how I have seen people become wealthy. It has worked for me. So that's what flipping is about. I just wanted to give you an overview about flipping. Flipping is easy, but not easy at all sometimes. But if you are a handyman, you're doing all the work by yourself, very likely you will come ahead. Very likely, but it's still not guaranteed. Real estate is a business where you have to take care of your investments, or you're going to fail, or you're going to have a setback. You can lose a lot of money in real estate too. People have lost a lot of money in real estate. So you have to take care of it. Then you'll be successful. It has tax benefit. The tax benefit is whatever you do, you can deduct as your expenses. And also 1031 exchange. So you buy the property for $100,000, you sold the property for $250,000. The government says that you can buy the property of equal value or more, then you don't have to pay the taxes. So that's a huge big, you basically tax deferring. So the rich people become richer. The reason it is because $100,000 property, now they sold it for $250,000. Now they took that $250,000, and then they bought another property, $500,000. And they sold $500,000 property, bought $1 million property. So see how their wealth is growing. That's what the real estate does, it creates wealth. There's another thing about real estate, I'll tell you that by renting, and nobody has talked about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Let's say you have a house and you are renting for $1,500. You found a tenant, good tenant. You have done your due diligence, checked their, you have screened the tenant and everything. When they move in, when they sign the lease, they give you $1,500. When they move in, they give you first month and last month rent. So you already got $1,500 which sits with you. You also get $3,000 when they move in, the first month rent and the last month rent. So you already got $4,500 from them. But some people actually, now I've been seeing it, they charge you first month rent and also last 2 month rent. Sometimes last 3 months rent. So if you're getting just deposit money and first and last month is $4,500. And then if you're getting 3 months rent in advance and a deposit, you got 4 months. So you got $6,000 right from the get-go. Now assume that if you have 10 properties and you do the same thing in 10 properties, you have $60,000 public money and you don't pay any taxes on it. If you have 20 properties, you have $120,000. I mean, think about the numbers. You can really buy $100,000 house cash from public money, no interest. Sure enough, you have to save some of the money out of it because you are returning deposits and maintaining and all this and that you have to do, but not $120,000 if you have 20 properties. There are more loopholes in the business and they are all legitimate loopholes. They are all legal. I never encourage people to do anything stupid. Always make your money legally. Always do your taxes right. But my point is that there are a lot of holes in this business where you can create wealth. So that's what I'm talking about. I already talked about 1031 exchange. You can also get a loan against your real estate. Any bank will loan you if you have a good credit and you own your asset. They will loan you money on your equity, 60% to sometimes 90%. A lot of people do that. Take the equity out, put the down payment somewhere else, buy another property. I don't believe in it. The reason I don't believe in it, unless you have a lot of money sitting cash somewhere, you can get in trouble. Second mortgage, taking equity out, you don't do like that. That's a recipe to failure. Not always, but you're risking a lot. I just want to go through old-fashioned way. Work hard, save, buy. Work hard, save, buy. Work hard, save, buy. Rent. Create wealth that way. Less headache. You already have tons of headache in life. You don't want to create more headaches. Good retirement income. We already talked about it. If you have your properties paid for, you have 2 or 3 properties, you're getting income from the property. Yeah, sure, you have to maintain, you have to pay your taxes and insurance. By the time you're retiring, most likely the property is paid for. Then you also getting for Social Security. It's not bad. If you have 2 or 3 properties, you can maintain, or somebody can maintain for you. You can hire a rental agency. There's advantage and disadvantage of rental agency. Advantage is that you do not have to take care of the property day in day out, but you have to maintain and manage. Rental agency. I manage my property myself, but it's a lot of headache. But I also hear a lot of bad stories about rental agency. They're gouging here, they're gouging money, they're gouging here. So you have to decide which route you want to go. Manage yourself or manage through rental agency. It works. You always have to pay people when you hire, so nothing wrong with that. Not every rental agency is bad rental agency either. There are a lot of good people out there. But I manage my property myself. Wealth building tool, we already talked about it. It's very easy to learn real estate business. It's nothing like learning about stocks, learning about companies. Then you invest in their company, in their stocks, because that's very hard. Learning real estate is a lot easier. So think about real estate. We already talked about equity. It builds equity. We already talked about mortgage deductions. And we already talked about that you can get loan against your property equity, and it's very good business hedge against inflation. So when inflation goes up, the property values shoot up. Like right now in United States, average, I've been hearing inflation has gone up like 5%, 5.5%. So the property values have gone up too. So it's a very good business against inflation. Homeowner can deduct up to $1 million in mortgage interest. This is what my note said. I may be wrong. You check with your accountant. But what it means that if you have a mortgage, and if you're a homeowner, you're living in the house, and that's your primary home, and you have a mortgage, up to $1 million of mortgage you can deduct from your taxes. So it's a very good tax shelter if you're living in the house. It's your primary home. We already talked about the capital gain. If you're single and if you sell your property, your primary home, up to $250,000 capital gain. If you lived in the property for 2 years, you do not have to pay any taxes on capital gain. If you're married, up to 5, then it's $500,000. But you always going to check with your accountant and also your real estate attorney, mostly accountant. Like I said in my previous video, I'm going to say again on this video that I'm not an accountant. I will never give anybody accounts advice, and I will never give anybody a legal advice because I'm not a lawyer. So definitely consult with your accountant, definitely consult with your real estate attorney when it comes to real estate. I'm just giving you overview how one can benefit from real estate. So that's what it is. I covered everything about real estate as far as overview of real estate. And maybe I will make one more video about real estate, my experience I will share, and then we will stop real estate, then we will go into investing in precious metal and semi-precious metal. That'll be just one video. Thank you very much for subscribing my channel. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel. Tell your friends about my channel. I would really appreciate it. And work hard, save, and invest. That will make you wealthy. Thank you very much.